So what a speaker today. You know, I've got this little introduction here, but I have to say, there is a deep connection that everyone here at Unity has with our speaker today. Not only that, but he continues to be of service in this community and has for many decades. We are so grateful that on this Thanksgiving Day, that he is going to bring us a beautiful message of Thanksgiving. And that person is Randy Purcell. Randy has been a member at Unity since 1981, and he has experienced a genuine miracle when he first attended here. Since then, Randy has used Unity metaphysical principles to place in the top 1% of the realtors nationally, and from there he went on to found a world-leading technology company with over 400 employees. It was named one of he was top 40 under 40 business people by Business in Vancouver magazine. He's also produced and distributed movies for Sony Entertainment and the Lifetime Network, and managed a AAA hockey team. Now that's a feat. Randy served as Unity Board President for 10 years, and today he continues to serve Unity in a variety of capacities. We are so thankful for what he calls a divinely charmed life, because he gives that to us every time he's here. Please join us in giving a warm welcome to Randy Purcell.
Good morning, everyone. So glad you could be here. What a beautiful day out there. Isn't it just an incredible day? And I'm reminded of and I don't quote biblical scripture very much. Those of you that come to my classes and so forth know that I'm given more to quantum physics, although Scripture ultimately does have a place in my life, because I think that there is meaning that can be found there if you're willing to do the work. But this beautiful day out there reminds me of that expression, or the verse. This is the day. Excuse me. Some people have a way with words, and some people not have way. So this is the day that the Lord hath made. Rejoice and be glad in it. The most important part of that to me is the word rejoice, because it implies that joy is meant to be experienced over and over again. Not just be joyous and be glad in it, but rejoice and be glad in it. So maybe an opening question is, when was the last time that you truly experienced joy? I'll give you a second to just think about that. When was the last time that you experienced joy? Today we're gonna dig deep into this topic, but this is just the opening. So I want to begin with just a short snippet. A woman from the interior writes that every day, upon picking up her 11-year-old son from school, she would ask, "How was your day?" For years, she got the same response, "Fine, fine," with no eye contact. Her son's autism, it seemed, was going to deprive her of the normal chit-chat parents unconsciously relish. One early spring afternoon, she asked the question, expecting the same answer. "How was your day?" Her son replied, "Good, good." Then he looked at her and said, "How was your day, Mom?" With tears streaming down her face, she said, "It's really good. The best day ever." Is it not true that you sometimes find joy when you least expect it? Now, Please stand for the New English translation of the Aramaic version of the Lord's Prayer.
Holy Spirit, creator of life and care, create a secret inside us and fill it with your presence, that oneness now be rare. Your blood is younger than blood, and energy fills with warmth. Give us this day a physical and spiritual nourishment. Untangle the knots of error and pride. If you're the others, don't let those experiences make us forget and souls will free us to, I don't know. For the nonsense comes glorious harmonies in life. May this earth of fertile ground from the voyage's future grows. Amen.
So please settle into your seats, find a comfortable position, not too rigid, not too loose, and just take in a deep breath and then let it out slowly. Close your eyes if you're comfortable with that. And listen to the sounds of this room. As your breath naturally comes and goes, hold the thought that there is nothing worth holding on to any longer that keeps your peace and happiness at arm's length. Become committed, fully committed to the experience of your true nature, which includes joy. There really is nothing down there, down deep in your subconscious mind that is worth defending or protecting. Give your higher power full permission to sweep the basement clean. In this moment, give your higher power permission to sweep the basement clean. It will come to pass in time that you will know perfect peace. You will know what it means to be relieved of time and to be comforted by what is eternal. Never once let yourself think that you are alone. It is nonsense for you to think Spirit is not with you. You have asked, Spirit has responded. You are in direct communication. This is the way that it is, and this is the way it will be until the end of time. So, what if we really realize that it's all a gift? even the problems, even the pain, even the car accidents, even the hurts, even the relationships that didn't work out, even the jobs or businesses that had their challenges? What if we're even grateful for the fear that struck us because we at least felt fully? Or for the faith that guided us beyond the fear to keep going? Or the joy that's available in any moment that you're grateful? What if tears flow, but they're tears of grace, and you're just thankful for it all? What if inside your soul already knew the truth? What if inside your soul you knew this truth from this day forward? And if you ever forgot, that your soul reminds you life's not happening to you. It's always been happening for you. And it still is, even now. Give thanks in whatever way is appropriate for this magnificent life full of all these feelings. Because, my dear friends, we've seen it, we've heard it, we've tasted it, we've smelled it, we've experienced it all. And yet, there's so much more. The sun rising in the morning, setting at night, moonlight on the water, or perhaps reflected in a raindrop, the reflection on a car window, the smell of cotton, the taste of that piece of fruit you love, the smile on a child's face you love, or a beloved, the laughter that's so strong your whole body shakes. The insights that free you whenever you're willing. The love of life, God, the universe, or whatever it is you believe, has given you this magnificent gift called life that comes with so many textures, so many emotions, so many feelings. And what if you let all those feelings flow and not be held back? What if you're actually so much more than any of it? What if now you could take in all the beautiful textures without fear and know that it's all been the fabric that has helped to shape this beautiful destiny that's still just beginning? It's the next chapter now. What's now and what's next is always better than what was, because we keep growing. So now, just say a prayer of thank you, whatever way is appropriate for you, to whoever has touched your life. Who do you want to thank right now? Who are some of the people along the way that have been there for you? They weren't perfect. I'm not. You're not. But they were there at certain moments. Who's been there at certain moments of your life that you want to thank? What force of the universe or creation has been there for you always and still is? Who do you love? Fill up with this love and send it now to those you love dearly. Thank them right now. Those that are here, even those that have passed, teachers, friends, lovers, children, fathers, mothers. What can possibly be more aligned with spirit than a loving heart in a state of complete gratitude? it dawns on me in this silence that in quiet gratitude, the pure, quiet gratitude, there is a humility. There's a perfect humility of having let go and being thankful to everything that supports you.
This song is for those who may find the holiday season a bit difficult. So not everybody's happy on Thanksgiving or on Christmas time, maybe because of no family or distance or just trauma that has happened in your life. And I hope that this song will speak to your hearts and give you a sense of hope. I know there's gonna be some brighter days. I swear that love will find you in your pain. I feel it in me like the beating of life in my veins. I know there's gonna be some brighter days. I know there's gonna be some brighter days. Oh, ashes fall like burning trees. Oh, never live through times like these. Oh, if you're trying hard to breathe in the dark, in the dark, I know there's gonna be some brighter days. I swear that love will find you in your pain. I feel it in me like the beating of life in my veins. I know there's gonna be some brighter days. I know there's gonna be some brighter days. Oh, if your screams don't make a sound, oh, if your walls are crashing down, oh, if your heart just cries too loud all the time, all of the time, I know there's gonna be some brighter days. I swear that love will find you in your pain. I feel it in me like the beating of life in my veins. I know there's gonna be some brighter days. I know there's gonna be some brighter days. Oh, oh, brighter days. Brighter days. I know there's gonna be brighter days. I swear that love will find you in your pain. I feel it in me like the beating of life in my veins. Oh, I know there's gonna be some brighter days. I swear that love will find you in your pain.
Oh, isn't Marcus great? It's Thanksgiving Day, and the gifts are coming. The gifts are coming through. Brighter days. Hopefully today, if there's one objective that I maybe am holding deep down of today, it would be to somehow just contribute just a little bit to each and every person's ability. And if not that, just one person's ability would make me happy to help create brighter days. My family asked me to stop telling dad jokes, but I can't quit cold turkey. That's a Thanksgiving theme that's happening right there. So there was this minister in this sort of old-time church, and he decided he was going to bring the fire and brimstone. And he was doing an impassioned sermon about death and final judgment. The pastor said forcefully, each member of this church is going to die and face judgment. And you noticed down in the front row, there was a man sitting there with a big, broad smile on his face. So he kept talking, and then he came to the refrain, and I repeat, every member in this church will die and face judgment. And he looked, and the man was still smiling, and now he was beaming. He kept talking, and then he came to the refrain, and this time he thought he's going to drill the point home. So he comes down off the stage, and he says, every member of this church is going to die and face judgment. And still, the man smiles irrepressibly, and not wanting to throw his service off too much further, he went back up to the stage. But at the end of the service, he made a beeline to the man, and he said, what is going on with you? I'm making a serious point. I said you were going to die and face judgment, and all you can do is smile? Why? And the man looks at him and goes, because I'm not a member of this church. Oh, isn't it good to laugh? Laughter is good. Laughter is good. So today, being Thanksgiving, I thought it would be really nice to focus on some of the things that are going right in the world. And for that, we turn to the Unity Good News. Good news. Good news is happening, people. We just don't, well, I shouldn't say it because I can't speak for everybody in the room. Some of you watch the news. Some of you don't watch the news. Some of you really carefully curate everything that enters your consciousness. But most of us are probably somewhere a little bit in the middle. And it seems that society has kind of biased things towards the catastrophic. And if we're not careful, we can start thinking that, and it's not that we're thinking inaccurately, but that actually does become the large part of our reality, catastrophe. Everything that's going wrong becomes what is consuming our available bandwidth. So today, let's just take a look at some of the news that maybe we haven't seen. In a world first, a woman's type 1 diabetes, that's like the worst kind of diabetes. For most people, it's recognized the minute they're born. Well, not the minute, maybe it takes an hour or something, but their body cannot handle blood glucose. And in China, they implanted a stem cell in the liver of a woman, and 2.5 months later, she was able to completely discontinue insulin and has been non-diabetic ever since. This is a disease, by the way, that plagues 500 million people on this planet. They need to have insulin or they die. Now, the commenting researchers on this said, well, that's really great, but we need it to be replicated. Here's the first person that was replicated in Washington, D.C., a nurse. Again, I think it took her about 3 months for the stem cells to take effect. She's now thrown away her insulin. It was funny, the woman in China, the comment in her interview that really stuck out, she said, I'm really happy, but this is what stuck out. She said, now I can eat sugar. Oh, and we take that for granted, right? We just, but for her, it would have killed her. And but this nurse says, on this stem cell treatment, I pray that this gets to everyone. My life has changed. Do you think that's good news? Can we be grateful that there are people out there bringing this kind of thing about? That's progress. What about the Indian rhinos? They were down to just 600 on the planet in the 1960s, and today, through conservation efforts over 40 years, there are now over 4,000 Indian rhinos on the Asian continent. So let's hear it for the rhinos. And let's hear it for the people, like that someone decided this is going to be important. I'm going to take care of this creation. I'm going to make sure that this doesn't disappear. I'm thankful for not only that the rhinos have been saved, but I'm thankful that there are people on this planet who care so deeply about the planet and about its inhabitants that they dedicate their lives to it. This is Namonte Nanquimo, and I want to get this right. She is an Ecuadorian activist who recently appeared at a global climate initiative. And one of the reporters that was there said that, she said, one of the most impactful moments of the events wasn't any of the announcements or any of the global leaders that made surprise announcements and appearances. It happened in one of the smaller conference rooms during a spotlight session on land management when Namonte Nanquimo, the extraordinary indigenous activist from Ecuador, was asked to share her thoughts. She said, I want to say that I've been at many climate conferences and there's a lot of talking, a lot of commitments, and a lot of applause. But we are facing a climate crisis and we need to change the system from within. Then she added something that struck the reporter to her core. She said, Mother Earth is not asking us to save her. This kind of touches me. She says, Mother Earth is not asking us to save her. She's demanding we respect her. The world's not needing us to save it. It will just take care of us if we continue to be a problem. So, folks, I thought that was an incredible paradigm shift, and I, like the reporter, was quite taken by that. And actually, there's something we'll talk about a little later on that ties in with. Now, we're talking about the climate crisis. If you look at the slide on the screen, if you look at the left arrow, this shows a mix of energy in the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom was the first country in the world to use coal-fired plants to generate electricity. It is also the first country in the world to completely eliminate coal-fired energy plants. And as you can see, some industrious individual took a picture of the moment that governmental graph, which was tied in to all of the energy-producing plants, turned from a number 6 to a 0. And you'll notice, by the way, that at the bottom it says wind 35.2%. The UK now generates more electricity from wind than any other source. I'd say we're moving in the right direction. What do you think? Rooftop solar is trending in Australia. Over 1/3 of households and small businesses now have rooftop solar, surpassing once again coal-fired power. And in Texas, those guys they're on fire. I was trying to think last night why they're like so on fire with solar, because Texas built more solar and battery storage in August than the entire rest of the United States of America. They are just installing solar anywhere and everywhere. It probably was to do with those power outages in the winter that they had some time ago, that everyone's realizing they can't depend necessarily on the governmental infrastructure. So yeah, that's very interesting. I thought this was a really interesting news item. We all know electric cars are, without question, the future. Well, there is a group of mayors, they're called the Climate Mayors Coalition, has committed to building 168,000 EV chargers in disadvantaged communities across the U.S. So up until now, electric cars have kind of been the purview of the elite that can afford more expensive cars. But cars that don't require gas are really quite wonderful and economical. And so as those cars come down in price, one of the barriers for a lot of people in low economic is like, where will I go to charge it? Even if I did buy this car, where would I go to charge it? Imagine a coalition of mayors in the United States has said we are going to build 168,000 chargers in disadvantaged communities. Can we hear it for those mayors? And this one I thought was nice because this is British Columbia. First Nations has begun restoration of oil and gas wells in British Columbia. What's interesting is apparently the traditional homelands of the Salto and West Moberly Lake First Nation, 750 kilometers northwest of Vancouver, are littered, now get this, with tens of thousands of old, disused oil and gas wells. Their property has tens of thousands of these. You can see one of them. They're old, broken down, pipes and so forth sticking out of the ground all over. And the province of British Columbia, working together with the Indigenous groups, are in fact. Thank you, Roy. That's very nice. Wow, I didn't even know I needed that. Thank you. And so the Indigenous people, together with the province of British Columbia, are removing them, and we're restoring the land to its beauty. Because when I read restoring oil and gas wells, I thought, what are we building, producing wells and so forth again? But I dug into it, and no, they're just removing it all. I guess they really meant to say restoring the land. But in any event, this one was interesting. 100,000 Americans have signed up to welcome, and it's not spelt right, sorry, signed up to welcome refugees in their first 3 months, helping them find homes, enroll in schools, pursue their dreams. And the New York Times literally wrote this: no cats, dogs, or geese were harmed in the process. Yeah. So, again, 100,000 Americans opening their homes to refugees coming from places like the Ukraine and other war-torn areas of the world. I'm thankful that there are people like that in the world. Did you know 15 years ago, if someone was diagnosed with advanced melanoma, the 5-year survival rate was just 5%. Today, more than 50% of people with advanced melanoma now survive for at least 10 years, thanks to a double dose of a new immunotherapy drug. Like, that stuff is so wild and so complex. And I'm just so thankful that there are people who are born with this innate ability to gravitate to those subjects and to save what in the future will end up being millions and millions of lives. This one, 2023, cigarette smoking in Canada and the United States is at an 80-year low. 11% in, yeah. So, this is really good when we can get people to stop killing themselves. So it's positive, and it frees up our tax money to do other good things. And we should always remember that. This one I thought is very moving as well. Since 2018, the World Bank is responsible for nearly 95 million women receiving skilled attendance at birth. So 95 million women that probably would have given birth by themselves or with a family member as their only help in their home. But today, they're training massive numbers of skilled birth attendants. That makes a huge difference in child mortality and also mother mortality. This actually blew me away. Like when people talk about, make anything great again, or just how bad it is right now, how bad it's gotten. This graph shows in the pink, the percentage of the world population that lived in a country with no laws against domestic violence. And you look at 1990, and there's just a sliver. It wasn't until, I believe it was either the mid-1980s, yeah, I don't have the exact stat here in front of me, but either the mid-1980s towards or the very early 90s, that even the United States first introduced a law against domestic violence. And as you can see, 20 years ago, 8 in 10 people in the world lived in countries without penalties for domestic violence. By 2023, this had more than reversed, with 9 in 10 people on the planet now living in countries with laws against domestic violence. Now, there's a big asterisk that says that the enforcement of these laws still has a ways to come. But when you see a shift as dramatic as that graph shows in the country's intention by setting a law to send a message to the populace that something is no longer acceptable, that's almost unheard of. Like to flip from 2 in 10 living in countries with laws to 9 in 10 in literally a space of 20 to 30 years. That's massive global change for the positive, and for that, I am grateful. Now, okay. This is Amanda Palmer. She's a historian at the University of Chicago. She says on this topic, progress is not inevitable, but it is happening. It is not transparent, but it is visible. It is not linear, but it is directional. It is not controllable, but it is us. We are progress. In fact, she says, it is nothing but us. We are doing this. We are doing this. She said her favorite historical document she ever read was a historical letter from a mercenary captain to Machiavelli. He was completing writing a history, Machiavelli was completing writing a history of the 14th century, and the captain implored him to share in greater detail just how bad it was, for he feared that if he didn't, people would not know how hard that they had worked. They were just coming out of a time where Black Death, plague, had killed estimates between 50 to 60% of Italy's entire population. In the wake of this, there were power struggles that were developing and factions and independent militaries striving for control, social unrest. And what we remember most about that time, it's interesting how we're programmed, is that this is the same period that Michelangelo carved David and Da Vinci painted the Mona Lisa. The Renaissance, we say. Wasn't it wonderful? It must have been fabulous. Must have been fabulous. Fact was, life has always been tough, but we just keep getting better. There is something, an impulse at our core in consciousness that keeps driving us as a whole, as a species, to higher and higher levels of perfection. Now, I have too many notes, and I'm not going to be able to cover everything, so I want to choose what are the key points that we're going to talk about here. Janet said, I experienced a genuine miracle on the first time that I came to Unity, and it's true. I've talked about it many times, so I won't say it again. If you want to ask after the service, I'll be happy. But one of the other things that was one of the very first things in the very early 1980s that I experienced at Unity was a Wednesday evening talk by the astronaut Dennis Waitley. Dennis Waitley writes, happiness cannot be traveled to, owned, worn, or consumed. Happiness is the spiritual experience of living every minute with love, grace, and gratitude. And that made me think, that just made me think, how much happiness do we control? How much do we control? I did a talk on this like 7-8 years ago, and I went deep into the statistics of positive psychology and so forth. But the message that I want to convey today is that we do control at least 50% of our happiness level. And gratitude is one of the greatest mediators of your ongoing level of happiness. Are you happy with your life? And yet, so often we go through life in a state of just sort of repetition, just doing life. And we don't stop to, as they say, smell the roses. So gratitude can make a big, big difference. It starts with realizing that you are magnificent. You are. David Steindl-Rast, a monk who's dedicated his life and ended up focusing on gratitude, says, what if this was your first day alive? Would you give thanks to be here? Would you be in awe? Like if you just, ping, you were just arrived here and you looked around, would you not find everything amazing? Would you not become, and you went, and you were in here and it was like lights and chairs and other people, and then you walked out on the street and you saw the greenery and you would be in absolute awe. And maybe that's what is meant in the Bible when they say you need to become as a little child. You need to become as a little child and not just become desensitized to the miracle of you, the miracle of your life, the miracle of your consciousness. He says, open your hearts to the gifts of civilization. When they asked Gandhi what he thought of Western civilization, he said he thought it would be a good idea. But David Steindl-Rast, the Gratitude King, says, open yourself to the gifts of civilization. You flick a switch and you have light. You turn the tap and you have water. You turn it further, it becomes hot water. In every, I'm venturing to guess that this is true for every single person in the room. Do you know how much work it took? How much work it took to create a water supply system and run piping to every one of the homes on this planet that currently enjoys running water? It's a miracle. It's a miracle. But we're like, whatever. Like, it doesn't mean anything to us. You have water. I'm not sure what the stat is now, but a large percentage of the world doesn't have any water, clean water. There are, my heart still bleeds when I hear the tale of an aid worker that was talking about being in a third world country and coming upon children staggering around in a stupor from having drunk water out of a stream polluted by a chemical plant just down the road. And these kids are drinking poison. And yet we have this fabulous running water. Open your heart to all these blessings so that everyone you meet will be blessed with your gratitude. Gratitude's a vibration. Because you know, when you have the vibration of gratitude, that you transmit it to other people just through your very being when you meet them, when you spend time with them. It's definitely something. And it's viral. Adam Grant, who was the youngest ever tenured professor at Wharton Business School, he showed, and I won't get into the details of it, but he showed that just thanking someone, sincerely thanking someone for something they do for you, makes them 50%, approximately, I think it was like 53% more likely for them to help someone else again. Because when we get thanked for doing good, we want to do more of it. And it spreads virally. So take the time to thank the waitress, the clerk at the shop. Spirit blesses us with our breath in and out. But did you know that our breath makes us one with everything? Did you know that it makes us one with everything? Think about it. There would be no point in breathing if there wasn't trees, right? Because trees create the oxygen that sustains us. So if you were designing a human being and it needed air to live, then wouldn't you say that whatever created that air is part of it? Like we're like the magnificent human being, the brain, the most complex thing known to man. All of the trillions of different chemical reactions happening in your body every second, but it wouldn't work unless you have a tree. Why? Why is that? Because what we see is actually an energetic translation of what's really happening. Donald Hoffman at UCLA says that we are basically seeing an interface that has evolved over millions of years that allows us to get through our day and do what we need to do to sustain and replicate and sustain the species. But think about it. If there was no rain, though, there'd be no trees. And if there was no ocean, there'd be no rain. And if there were no soil to nourish the roots, so all of those things are necessary. Any one of those things goes away, you go away. You disappear. That's because there is no separation between us. We're one whole, singular, living system. But each of us has a job to do. We're individuations of consciousness. But I think it's foolhardy to think that we're separate beings and that our actions don't affect others. So I just want to throw this one in because, a lot of us, we think we understand reality, right? Like we understand life. There's an old saying, I'll believe it when I see it. Well, we're sitting here during our meditation. We were sitting quietly and silently, right? We were still, right? Wrong. We were not still at all. We're sitting on the earth. The earth is moving around the sun at 1,700 kilometers an hour. The earth is moving around the sun at 1,700 kilometers an hour. Did you know that? Do you feel that? Do your senses tell you that? No, they're not very good. Maybe if we were going faster, because the universe in which we reside is moving through space at 2.1 million kilometers per hour. Right now, when I'm standing right here, I'm going 2.1 million kilometers an hour. You, Frederick, sitting there in your seat, are going, you got your seatbelt on? We're all going 2.1 million kilometers an hour. The old saying, something we don't understand is doing we don't know what. We are involved in a grand scheme that is literally beyond comprehension. So, looking at the clock, I am going to tell you, I'm going to give you a couple of quick points. I want to end with, okay. So how do we invite joy? I'm going to give you the short course, folks, and perhaps we'll do a course on inviting joy into our lives at some point. But right now, oh, thank you. Right now, I suggest heightened awareness of your own self-talk because you are the director of your life. You decide where to point the camera through your focus. You decide what's going to happen through your choice of what you do on a given day. You are the narrator of everything that happens. You give it meaning. Nothing has any meaning except the meaning that you give to it. You're literally crafting your life in every single moment. And the place where you can observe how well you're doing that is how you talk to yourself, if you listen to what you're saying. So make that important, something to really, really understand. And I'm going to close on this. This is Ray Hinton. Ray Hinton was released from prison on April 3rd, 2015, after spending 30 years on death row for a crime he did not commit. His release came after new ballistics tests contradicted the evidence that had linked him to the murders of 2 fast food restaurant managers in 1982. The state of Alabama dropped all charges against him, and a Jefferson County Circuit judge overturned his conviction. His time in jail was spent in solitary confinement in a 5 by 7 foot cell, and he was allowed out only 1 hour of the day. In an interview, he was quoted as saying, "One does not know the value of freedom until it is taken away. People run out of the rain. I run into the rain." Wow, that's so poetic. I am so grateful for every drop just to feel it on my face. Hinton was later interviewed on 60 Minutes. The interviewer asked if he was angry at the people who put him in jail. He said he forgave them all. The interviewer asked, "But they took 30 years of your life. How can you not be angry?" Hinton responded, "If I'm angry and unforgiving, they will have taken the rest of my life. If I'm angry and forgiving, they will have taken the rest of my life." That's insight, isn't it? He's quoted in another interview. He says, "The world didn't give you your joy, and the world can't take it away. People can come into your life and destroy it, but I refuse to let anyone take my joy. I wake up in the morning and I don't need anyone to make me laugh. I'm going to laugh on my own because I have been blessed to see another day. And when you're blessed to see another day, that should automatically give you joy." Wow. They say sometimes that religion is intended to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable. I suggest, let's not wait until we're afflicted to start appreciating the good in our life. Work hard to find gratitude every day. I'd go so far as to say, become a student of gratitude. Read on it on a regular basis. There's new findings. There's literally social scientists that research the power of gratitude. Read and learn what they've learned and come to understand it. Find gratitude every day. There is something to be grateful for every day. Sometimes the hardest part of being grateful is just being able to build an awareness of the good. Read the good news. Write this down. There's a thing called the Good News Network. There's another one called Fix the News. If you Google those, Good News Network, Fix the News. Subscribe to those. Get that in your inbox. Every day, get some positive news. Because eventually, if you have nothing but bad news, it weighs you down. It's hard to be positive when all you hear is negative. In fact, many people believe that it will, it's in large part, one of the we hear today about children being depressed and anxiety at catastrophic rates, really. What's one of the biggest differences between children today and children of the past that didn't have those? The internet, the cell phone, have it with them all the time. And I'm not against technology by any stretch of the imagination, but could it be that children are exposed to the worst of the world in a disproportionate percentage of what they should be during their formative years? And it's causing them to lose hope. But you, through your gratitude, through your smiles, through your support, through your encouragement, can help the virus of gratitude and optimism to spread in the world. Sometimes the hardest part is just building the awareness, Find good news every day. Find something, it's written in the Bible, think on things of good report. There's such wisdom there. Think on things of good report. We rarely stop and bring awareness to each moment, each day, and the things that we should be grateful for. Let's do so not only today, let's do so every day, so that it's not just Thanksgiving Day, but instead we're thanks living. Thank you.
I loved what he said about when we breathe in, we're breathing in oxygen from the trees. And I was also thinking about the fact that when we exhale carbon dioxide, and that's what the trees use to make oxygen. And so there's this cycle of give and take, in and out. What I find, what gives me joy, what makes me thankful is a song, is music. That's why I said to you earlier, those who were here earlier, open your mouth and let God out. Breathe out joy, breathe out happiness, breathe out thankfulness, breathe out all that is true and make it real. Without a song, the day would never end. Without a song, the road would never bend. When things go wrong, a man ain't got a friend. Without a song, that field of corn would never see a plow. That field of corn would be deserted now. A man is born, but he's no good, no how, without a song. And I've got my troubles and woe, but surely I know that the Jordan will roll. I'll travel on as long as a song is deep in my soul. And I'll never know what makes the rain to fall. I'll never know what makes the grass grow tall. I only know there ain't no love at all without a song. And I've got my troubles and woe, but surely I know that the Jordan
Give it up one more time for Marcus Mosley and Brenda Baird. And of course, to our inspiring and thought-provoking Randy. I just want to take a moment to state a wonderful affirmation after what Randy was saying today, and that is, today I praise the bounty of earth. Isn't it an amazing place that we get to live in and on? And in view of that, a wonderful treasure that all of us have had has been the work of Chief Dan George. And I'd just like to say a few stanzas of his very, very well-known poem, My Heart Soars. The beauty of the trees, the softness of the air, the fragrance of the grass speaks to me. The summit of the mountain, the thunder of the sky, the rhythm of the sea speaks to me. The faintness of the stars, the freshness of the morning, the dewdrop on the flower speaks to me. The strength of fire, the taste of salmon, the trail of the sun, and the life that never goes away. They speak to me, and my heart soars. That's for you today. And now we come to the time in our gathering where we give thanks for the miracle of our spiritual growth, our health, our happiness, our prosperity, and this spiritual community. We do this through the freely given offerings, love offerings, so please know that your offerings really do make a difference. There is no head office supporting this ministry. It is your donations that stabilize and empower this ministry, and we want you to know how much we appreciate it. And now let us say our love offering statement all together now. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. May you all be blessed with health, happiness, and know that God loves you, and so do we. If you are here in person, please drop off your donation with the ushers at the exit of the sanctuary. And to donate online, simply click on the donate link in your chat button window, which will allow you to give via all major credit cards. If you are here in person, we are happy to announce that we have a system set up at our bookstore that you can pay through credit card or Interact, and you can do that quickly and easily if you would prefer to do that. And of course, whether you're here in person, online, you can give via e-transfer at donations@unityofvancouver.org. Once again, if you're on Zoom or YouTube, you will find a donate link in your chat window. We have our Thanksgiving potluck today downstairs right after the service, so we suspect a number of people will be attempting to eat their weight in pie. So you don't want to miss that. And after an amazing amount of work, the first ever Unity Covenant House auction is now underway. And here to say a few words about it is Roy Preview. A preview of Prevo.
Good morning, everyone. Normally, I would be able to do this but, without notes, but you know how it is. First, I want to thank Randy for that wonderful message. Great, well done. And I want to thank Terry Collette, where's Terry, who's put in hundreds of hours, I might add, of putting the software together and going through the bumps and grinds of doing that. And so we've launched, folks. And so this is, oh, sorry, whatever was up there, or should be the, well, on the website, oops, there we go. Yes, so that's on our Unity website. So it's a very simple process to go through. You go on that, there's a link to take you to signing up. You sign up, you leave they ask you to have a code to your cell phone, so it's a security issue. And then you go out on the site. There are gift cards from food stores such as Avon and Safeway and Costco, and restaurants and coffee shops in the Lower Mainland, or mostly around downtown area. So let's say, for instance, we have some from Stong's Market. If you have friends who go there quite regularly, or then just send them the note saying, why don't you get a ticket or get a gift card? So you get a $50 gift card, which is a full value. The $50 goes to both the Covenant House and Unity. So it's a very simple process. We're hoping to do really well with it. So I'm asking you, and by the way, I'll be downstairs with my business cards and whatever. Come and talk to me if you have questions. This is a great opportunity for us as the Spiritual Center to create some funds, and we're doing a wonderful cause with Covenant House because they help marginalized youth off the streets, and they do a really great job in the community. So we're collaborating with them on this very, very significant project. So first thing, go to the Unity website, sign up for the auction. You get on there and preview all of the different items and choose whichever resonates with you. I know I have already bid on certain items, and let's make this a very significant success for both Covenant House and for the Unity Center. So there we are. And thank you.
Thank you, Roy. And we have coming up very excitedly on November the 1st, our 80s concert. Yes, 80s night, retro night. And we will have our wonderful Tom Arnson and Nathan Aswell's incredible band called The Hits. This incredible music evening will have the feature music of David Bowie, The Police, Bruce Springsteen, Journey, The Rolling Stones, Rod Stewart, Van Halen, Bon Jovi, B-52s, Dire Straits, and many more. It's going to be an incredible night of entertainment, and tickets are on sale for just $30. So buy your tickets, and you can go to the most recent email and click on the Buy Tickets link. You are also invited to explore the Inner Being, Your Inner Being workshop. Join us and awaken the ability to calm the mind, soothe the body, radiate your true power, amplify your ability to give and receive energy, and experience the power of connection in community. No need to register. This is a drop-in class, and you will find all the info on our website. The workshop will take place on Thursday, October 17th from 7 till 9, this Thursday. And of course, Tuesday, you can always check out our thriving Course in Miracles community by attending our Course in Miracles study group live from 12:30 to 2:30 right here at Unity's lower level. If you have any questions about the event, please feel free to ask them at the bookstore after the service. And exciting news, coming November the 2nd, child minding is starting. Yay! Oh, November 3rd. Concert November 1st. November 3rd, we have that coming up. And finally, on October the 18th, coming up this Friday, the Unity Canada Conference, which is taking place online, and will be featuring Reverend Sandra Campbell of Urban Ministry, Maitreyi, and our own musical director, Beverly Elliott, who will be doing a very special workshop on weaving your life into a tapestry of us. Tickets for this online event will run Friday night through Sunday afternoon and are just $100, and they can be purchased by clicking the link. Also, we will be live streaming next Sunday morning. All the Unity churches across Canada will be online with us as we have our special celebration service next Sunday with the conference. Today's affirmative prayer chaplains are Carol Roman, Melba Burns, Margaret McLeod on Zoom, and Carolyn Conlon on Zoom. Margaret's here with us in person. Would you please stand? To have confidential prayer with one of the chaplains, simply come to the front after all the music is finished, and you'll find the chaplains in the front row. They'll be happy to support you in prayer, and if you're watching on Zoom, we'll show you how you can participate in a few moments. Finally, don't forget, food and potluck downstairs. I hope you will all join us. And there's more than enough food for everyone, so if you're here for the first time or you weren't able to pick something up along the way, there is so much food. You're all blessed. And now we bring our gathering to a close, so please stand and let us together say our prayer for protection. All together now. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now, if you would all remain standing, we will do our peace song.
Step I make, let this be our joyous vow to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin